Hallo, ek is Edie. Welkom by my kanaal waar ons als saam doen. First and foremost, I want to thank this wonderful viewer for requesting today's video. I would not have thought of this myself, and I think it is a wonderful topic to discuss. Today we take a look at the Afrikaans word RUIL and all of its versions. It is exceedingly confusing, and I hope that I can do it justice and that after this video, it will not be confusing anymore. RUIL, RUIL, the Afrikaans word for barter, switch, swap, exchange, and the past tense that you'll see top right is geruil, geruil. So that's just simply the past tense of ruil. So let's look at the examples. You'll see ruil, just like that, is often connected to barter and the barter transaction of some kind. So top left, you'll see ruilhandel, which is a noun, and that is the word for barter. And then you have ruiltransaksie, which is also a noun, and that is a barter transaction. And then you have a verb, and that one is ruilkoop, ruilkoop. And that is to purchase via barter. Now, when it is not used in connection with a barter transaction of some kind, it is usually used when you want to refer to something being changed or switched or swapped, but also not always, but often. All right, so these examples are mainly what we use it for and the context we use it in. So the first one is kan ons plekke ruil. Kan ons plekke ruil. This is said when you ask somebody, can we switch places? When you're sitting next to another person, maybe you can't see clearly or you just want to switch places so you can talk to another person on that side, then you say, kan ons plekke ruil. Obviously, it can be in connection to in a row where you want to just switch with a person. Or if there's a number system of some kind and your name is being called and you want to switch numbers. So ruil is the word used in that situation. And then the last one, ja, ek sal met jou ruil. Ja, ek sal met jou ruil. Yes, I will switch with you. And then if you go to the other side and look at the past tense, ons het plekke geruil. Ons het plekke geruil. And that just means we switched places. Omruil. Omruil. Or ruil om. When it's omruil, it's one word. When it's ruil om, they will always be separate and never appear next to each other. So there will be words in between. Ruil and om. Alright, so it can mean to exchange, but in this case it's not like with ruil where it is barter in the sense of exchanging one thing for another as in a transaction. In this case it is when you exchange clothing. So we use omruil. When you go to a shop, it doesn't have to be clothing only, but you can take any goods or services in and then say, listen, I want to exchange this for something else. Then you go and you do a omruil, omruil transaction. All right, so this is what omruil is, to go back in and exchange it for something else, but it's not a barter transaction in that sense then. It's just you decided that this one doesn't do it for you, so you want another one. My dog is knocking at the door. I will be right back. Let me open. Okay, so there she is. She has this thing where when she wants to come lie on my bed or be with me, she scratches at the door and sort of knocks it with her paw until I open the door, and then she gets on the bed. Asha, Asha, don't chew. Sorry, she likes to chew herself. All right, so there she is. Her name's Asha. All right, so that's the one example, exchanging clothing or an item you purchased. Then the next one is in the connection with changing a tire. So in English, it'll be change. And the Afrikaans word for change in a different context than from changing a tire is verander. But when you change a tire in Afrikaans, you say omruil, band omruil. So tire change. But when you talk about change in other contexts in Afrikaans, you use verander. It is only when you change a tire that it's omruil. Right, and then we've got swap round or swap around. When you swap two things, but that's not like switching seats. So, oh my word. Okay, we'll get to that. I mean, this had me going like, am I a first language speaker? I was kind of wondering about it at that point. And then top right, you'll see omgeruil. That's the past tense. Omgeruil is only the one word, so you will never have a separate and geruil. This is always omgeruil, one word in the past. And now she's starting to snore. My word. All right. So the first example there is ek ruil die klere om. I exchange the clothes. Okay, so that's simple. Ek gaan die klere omruil. I am going to exchange the clothes. And then ruil asseblief die band om. Right, so you have to make sure that you don't think, no, but this is ruil separate like the previous clip. It is not. Because at the end of the sentence, you find om. So that would be, please change the tire. Ruil asseblief die band om. And then you've got the version where omruil is one word. Sal jy asseblief die band omruil? Will you please change the tire? And then at the bottom, ruil hulle om. Swap them. So then when you want to just tell somebody, can you just swap those two? Just swap them. Then you just say, ruil hulle om. Ruil om. And then we've got omgeruil, which is ek het die rok omgeruil. I exchanged the dress. Pardon the Asha. She is breathing so loudly. And I have asked her to not breathe so loudly, but it's not going to work. So, and I can't throw her out because I feel too bad. And she is, look at her. Look at her. She's so cute. So I'm just leaving her, but you can hear the snoring or the breathing. All right. So the next one is verruil. That also refers to an exchange of some kind, but it's not barter. And the trade there is also not referring to financial, like buying things, or barter. It's like trading places more. The context that we use it in, this, I would say this is almost not exclusive. It's not exclusively, but this is the most common way that we use the word verruil. And verruil only has one version. It's verruil in the present, it is verruil in the past, and it has no split version. Just that one word. Right, so ek sal jou vir niks verruil. And then the English there is, I won't trade you for anything. So that is the context of trade that we're talking about here. It could also be, I won't trade this job for anything. So it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a job or a position or something. It just means that you will not give this up for anything. You will not change this or exchange this for anything. And that is the way we use verruil. And down there at the bottom, it says, ek sal dit vir niks in die wêreld verruil nie. And that means I won't trade this for anything in the world. Or I won't trade it for anything in the world. And you'll also see top right, under past tense, there's an example. It says handel. Handel is the word in Afrikaans for the trades. Oh my word, I'm stumbling over my words. What is it with me? Handel is the Afrikaans word for the trading of goods and services. So when we talk about that kind of trading in Afrikaans, we use the word handel. Down there at the bottom, it says, ek het dit vir niks verruil. I didn't trade it for anything. So you see, verruil is the same in the past tense. Alrighty, so now uitruil, uitruil, or ruil uit. And in the past, that is uitgeruil. So this one also refers to an exchange of some kind or a swap, but it's interchange. So it's like swapping out. When this little boy has a set of marbles and that little girl has a set of marbles, and you know, the one wants the pink one, the one wants the blue one, then they swap amongst each other, or they exchange amongst each other. And this is more what uitruil is. And you know, when you go to work and there is that schedule, especially if you're a shift worker, you know, firefighters and paramedics and nurses, people like that, they give you a schedule for the month. Everybody's got their shift, and you know, somebody comes to you and it's like, I've got a thing on that day, my child needs to go to the doctor or whatever, can we just swap? And that is what uitruil is. So also when you exchange numbers, we use uitruil for exchanging numbers, like telephone numbers or cell phone numbers. So at the top it says, ons ruil nommers uit. We exchange numbers. Ons moet nommers uitruil. We must exchange numbers. So you can see there the two together and then also the separate versions of them. And you can see at the top where they are separate that it's most often that the second part, ruil uit, that uit is at the back of the sentence. At the bottom, I give the example of somebody doing shift work, and then you see ons kan uitruil, we can swap, and jy kan met my uitruil, you can swap with me. And then you've got the past tense, ons het uitgeruil, we have swapped. And just when you thought, surely it must be over now, then there's one more. So, inruil, inruil or ruil in, and in the past, ingeruil. This one is used mostly in connection with cars. What do I mean by that? When you trade something in. So it doesn't have to be a car, but you often get that person who's like, oh, it's year number 5. I've had this specific BMW for 5 years, and it's time to trade it in for a new and better, more flashy version. Ek ruil die kar in. I trade the car in, or I trade in the car. Ek gaan die kar inruil. I am going to trade the car in, or I'm going to trade in the car. And then, ek gaan die kar inruil vir 'n nuwe een. I am going to trade in the car for a new one. And then the past tense, ons het die kar ingeruil. We traded in the car. And so we reach the end of ruil. If I've missed any ruil words that you want to know the explanation of, please let me know in the comment section and I will reply with examples and explanations. Other than that, have an awesome day and I will see you in the next video.